Hello, world. My name is Chanel, and this is going to be a series where I share my journey into the tech industry. A little bit about me is that I am a single mother. I'm 28 years old, and I've only ever worked like part-time customer service jobs, and I hate it. And I'm sick of it because they don't pay anything. And recently, well, not recently, about a year ago, I stopped working because of COVID. And this past year, I've been trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to do with my life? I can go get a job, and I've been applying to jobs, but haven't been getting a call back, by the way, which I think is also a sign from God because He doesn't want me to work in customer service anymore. He wants me to get a job in tech because in the past few months, I've decided that, you know what, I want to get into software development. So I've been trying to figure out how I'm going to do that without getting a degree, without doing a boot camp, because either way I can't afford either of those things. And how am I going to do this? So luckily, YouTube, being the wonderful place that it is, has showed me so many different resources, um, like Free Code Camp, which in its name is free, which I think is the most amazing thing ever. Because as I've gone through it, I've learned so much. And I really truly believe that if you want to start in software engineering or software development, web development, whatever, front end, back end, whatever, start with Free Code Camp because one, it's free, and two, you actually have to do projects to get through it. And they run tests on your projects to see if it passes because it has certain things that you need to pass in order to get to the next section. So it actually really it is very structured, especially for the fact that it's free. It is open source, so that means that like anyone can like help contribute to it, which I think is amazing. Because it's actual developers creating this. I actually started with Zero to Mastery by Andre Niogi. I think that's how you say his name. Which is a super popular course on Udemy. It's like one of like the top courses for web development. But I did it through his website, which is all the same content, by the way. But I found for me, I just didn't learn very well that way because it's very like, it's just videos of him doing things and then it's like follow along and do it with me, but you're not really learning like how these things work. It's very like, hey, we're going to do this and do that and that's going to do this. But with Free Code Camp, it's very like you have to like it teaches you what this thing is, why that thing is what it is, and how to use it, and then it makes you use it yourself in order to get to the next section, which I think is like for a job that's so technical, that's the best way to learn. Is very hands-on, not just following along what someone else is doing, but to actually do it yourself. And that's not to dismiss any of like the success that's come from that course on Udemy from Zero to Mastery, because all the reviews, there's so many people who have gotten jobs from it, but I just personally don't learn that way. So that's why I'm using Free Code Camp. So I'm going to take you through, again, why do I forget to shut this page down? But yeah, so I'm going to walk you through Free Code Camp and then the projects that I did. Just keep in mind, these projects are not pretty. It was just like, again, I'm still learning. This is still new, but I was very, very, very impressed with what I was able to do from what I learned. Because as you do it, you realize like each project gets so much easier. So this is the first program, the responsive web design program. And it takes you through a whole bunch of modules. So you have basic HTML, CSS, visual design, accessibility, web design principles, Flexbox, and CSS Grid, which are so similar but so different and get really confusing when you try to use them in the real world because you're like, bro, like they're the same but they're different. It's annoying, but you figure it out. Trust me, as you go through, you figure it out. And then once you finish CSS Grid, you have 5 projects to complete. And then you can do and then you can get your certification for the responsive web design course. And each module has like a bunch of pages you have to get through. and then you complete them. So in order to get, okay, so once you've started each project, it gives you an example of what the project could look like. Like this is project number 1, the tribute page. And then it has a bunch of user stories that you need to complete. So the user stories are basically just certain things and certain elements that they want you to incorporate in your code, because they're trying to teach you certain things, right? To use what you've taught, to use what you've learned in the modules. Oh my gosh, sorry, it's pretty late right now, so I've had a long day. So yeah, so as you can see, so this is like their page that they've shown you, and then when you've completed it, you're going to run a test, and then it's going to say whether or not it's passed. So it's passed all its user stories, right? Because, well, this is the example. So this was what I did based off of that. I made a tribute page to Drake, Aubrey Graham, better known as Drake. That's the GOAT, my favorite artist of all time. But as you can see, I didn't make mine as pretty. I was really just trying to get like the layout done, because that's what I was struggling with the most. The colors and all of that is like the easy part. Layout and structure is the hard part. So yeah, so I got it done, little italics here, and then the link that goes to another page. Sorry, my computer's moving mad slow because I have all these tabs open. But yeah, so that's project number 1. And as you can see here, if I go to run the test, I have to select the tribute page, run test, and it passes all its tests. You have to pass all the tests if you want to get the certificate, and if you want to like be able to, you can still move on to the next section anyways, but I mean, what's the point if you didn't like complete the task, right? Next was a survey form. This one looks really good, right? This was the example. You have to enter your name, email, age. You have to have radio buttons. You have to have check boxes. You have to have a comment section and a submit button. Now here's mine. It's not very pretty. Well, it is very pretty. It's very colorful, but the styling of like the survey itself is very generic. Like this is just standard. This is no CSS styling at all. Like this is just how it looks. I didn't use Bootstrap or anything because I just wanted to get the inputs down. Like I wanted to know like how to do that properly. I didn't really care so much about like what it looked like at this point. I was just more so thinking about structure and using certain elements properly. So this was that assignment. I did try to make it look like this at first, but I was struggling so much and I was just so over it that day. I said, forget it. And I left it as it was. Sometimes that's what you need to do. But then in the next project, I was able to figure things out a little bit more. So the next project is a landing page, a product landing page. So you have your logo here, you have your navigation up here, and then you have to input an email address. You have like a little how it works. There's a video, and then the information and pricing. So on mine, what I did was, let's open it up a little bit more. Yeah, so I just made it like a Spotify product landing page, and then I added the little hover effect so it turns green when you hover over it, and then when you click the link it takes you down to the page, to that part of the page. I did the email, and as you can see the styling, like I actually added the style elements this time because I do know what I'm doing. By this time like things got a lot easier. And the other thing that I like is that like so you do all of this in CodePen, which is basically like an online code editor. And what you can do is you can view the template projects, I guess you could say, like the template that they give you in the code editor. So you can see the code that they use to do certain things. So, I mean, you don't necessarily need to do that because you could just go right click and hit inspect and see that in Google Chrome or Firefox or whatever you're using. But seeing it this way in the code editor just looks so much easier for me to understand anyways. So I was able to see like, oh, that's how they did that. And then go back and do it myself. I tried to make sure I didn't copy everything. I did try to like figure things out, which is why I didn't style things completely the same on purpose, so that I could figure out how to do things. And for some reason, this nav bar, as you can see, like it stops right here. I could not figure out how to make it go like the full length of the page, or sorry, the full width of the page. And it really bothered me. It really, really bothered me. Like I got halfway through this project and stopped. That was on Friday. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop for the weekend. And I'm going to come back to this on Monday. And I did that and I completed it, but I still couldn't figure this out until I did the next project. Yeah, sometimes taking a break, giving yourself a day or two to just not learn, to not educate yourself, give your brain some time to relax, I think is important, because then it's just easier to get back into things. At this point, like, I had been doing the free code camp curriculum for like all day, every day, all week. Like I wake up, take my son to school, come home, and then at 10 a.m. I just hop on the computer and then I just go hard until it's time to pick up my son from school, which is at 3 o'clock. So like all day, every day, I'm on here just learning. So sometimes it can get a little tiring, and that's why it's important to stop sometimes. So yeah, for the next project now, this was a technical document. So this one, oh, I didn't see it like that before. Cool. Okay, sorry. When I was actually doing these projects on my other on a different laptop, like this old Windows laptop that I have, because this computer, my MacBook, was not functional for a while. I had to go get that fixed. $325. Oh my god. But yeah, so it didn't look like this on the other laptop, but it doesn't matter. So the content of this, I just copy and pasted from here, like all the words and descriptions and stuff, because this project has like, it did not interest me at all. It's a document. Like, that's so boring. But then my technical document looks nothing like this. My nav bar is so ugly. It is so ugly. Like, look at this, is so ugly. And then when you scroll, you can see the words behind it, which is not what I wanted. And again, in this project, this is another thing that I couldn't figure it out during this project. But one thing that is good about Free Code Camp is that they have a discussion forum where you can ask questions. And remember that there are thousands of people who have done these projects before you. So a lot of your questions have probably already answered if you just search for it. Someone else probably posted it and there's a solution, which is something that I found in a lot of these. But luckily, making this completely opaque where the words don't come up behind it was not part of the test. So I didn't really worry too much about that, because I was like, you know what, in my next project, I'll figure it out. And I did. So as you can see here, in the next one, it was build a personal portfolio. So this is what theirs looks like, which is like really nice, you know, very structured. The layout's good. And then here's mine, which looks pretty good. In all honesty, if you look at the first project to this project, it's night and day. Like, let's be real. And I did this within a week. It took me a week from project 1 to project 5. Each project took me about a day. The last two, the product landing page and the personal portfolio, those both took me about 2 days each. Again, because those are the ones that I really took time to actually style and make sure they worked properly and everything. So as you can see here, like, my styling abilities have very much increased, right? Like, I actually know somewhat, looks like I know what I'm doing a little bit here, so much more than I did before. I use CSS, Flexbox. I use these icons. I have the hover effect. If you click projects, it takes you down to projects. Click contact, takes you to contact. If you click these, it actually takes you to my social media pages. And then again, the hover for each project. And then if you click the project, it takes you straight to it. So as you can see, this is my first project here again, the tribute page. Look at this. Day 1, project 1 to project number 5. Right? So as you can see, like, Free Code Camp really does teach you a lot, and it really does gives you the tools to succeed for free. Like, you're really not losing anything by using free code camp, if I'm gonna be completely honest with you. If you don't like it, don't use it. It's that simple. Go find something else. Go find something that works for you. But you're not losing anything by using free code camp. So now that I've done the responsive web design, I am going to do the JavaScript algorithms and data structure certification, because if I'm going to get a job, I'm going to need to know JavaScript, I feel like. Or at least that's what I want to do. Like, I want to do HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like, those are the things that I want to get down packed. So those are the things I'm really concentrating on. I do want to do the rest here as well. Not all of it, I don't think. At least not for right now. Like, I want to just learn certain things and then like get really good at those things. So I do want to do JavaScript front-end development library certification. Definitely want to do that. Data visualization, yes. Back-end development and APIs, yes, because I do want to build a project that does involve APIs. Quality assurance certification, I'm not really sure what that one is. I'm going to research that one. And then scientific computing in Python, yes, because I do want to learn Python. That's something I really wanted to learn. Someone actually told me to learn Python first, but I didn't want to, because I wanted to do web development. Like, I really, really wanted to. So I did that first because I wanted to, make websites and stuff. And that's another project I'm going to do is I have some people I'm going to ask if I can make websites for them, because they're like actual businesses of people that I know. I've talked to them before about websites, but they don't want them because they have Instagram, and Instagram's like really like good for them. But I'm really going to see if I can get them to like convince them to let me to make them a website for free, really just for my portfolio, so I can say that like I did this for a business, and see how that goes. That's something I want to do. And I want to start contributing to open source projects. I want to figure out GitHub looks super confusing, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I created an account and I'm just like, a what? Like, what's forking? What is forking? And what's a pull request do? Like, what are all these things? I tried watching some videos, but I kind of got bored. So I stopped. But like, honestly, ever since I've been on this journey, I've really like my YouTube recommendations page looks completely different from what it did a few months ago. Before, it was all like makeup tutorials and lifestyle channels and like music and music videos. Now it's all tech, how to get into tech, day in the life of a software engineer, and how to like your pathway to becoming a software engineer and all this stuff. So it's just all like CSS Grid, CSS Flexbox. Like, that's all my YouTube, which I actually love. Like, I really love it. Also, if you are interested, I did start a blog as well to document my journey as well as these videos. I will link it down below. It's going to be about my tech journey as well as here, but just more like documented, like in written form. Maybe if you don't like YouTube, or if you like both and you want to read it after I've posted it in video form, you can. I also post book reviews and stuff on my blog as well. Again, I just started it, so there's only one book review. But yeah, and it's much more personal blog. So I'm not just going to be posting like just my tech journey, but it's a lot more personal stuff as well, like mental health and how I handle that, and being a single mom and being jobless right now, and how I'm managing. So I'm giving myself a timeline of 1 year. So it is March 2022. I started this in February. So from February 2022, I will have a job in tech by February 2023. That is the timeline I'm giving myself. I feel like that is a very realistic timeline. Naturally, I would like to get a job much sooner than that. Like, I'm not going to wait till next year to start applying to jobs. I'm going to start applying to jobs probably this summer. I'm going to give myself these next few months to really like hone in on my skills and like get really good at HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Really make it to the point where like building like a very simple web page is just like effortless, where I don't need to like Google certain things. Like, Googling is a big part of a web developer's job, but I just mean like things that just should come naturally. Like, I want to get to that point. Once I feel like I get there, where I'm not Googling every single thing, where like the basic structure of it does become a lot more effortless, then I feel like I'll start applying to jobs. So, and considering like my learning style, I feel like if I just keep doing these things over the next couple months, like this is the beginning of March, so April, May, June. Yeah, by the time my son's done school, end of June, beginning of July, I think that'll be a good place for me to start applying to jobs. So from July 2022 up until February is a good amount of time to be applying to jobs. And I actually want to work with a you know those people that help you like redo your resume and interviews and stuff, like, you know, like there's someone who does that in tech for Black people in Toronto. So I want to actually get in touch with him and see if he can help me out when I get to that point. I think that will really help me as well, because the only thing that really scares me about this journey is the interview process. Because the whole technical interview thing, like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, I just know I'll be nervous. I just know myself in interviews. I've really got to work and practice on that. Like, the interviews, the work itself I can do. Like, I'm very teachable. I learn very easily and very quickly. I'm a very hands-on person. Once I start doing it, it does start to become very natural for me. So I know learning this isn't going to be hard. It's just going to take a lot of dedication and discipline, which I have. I'm super motivated. The thing that scares me is the interview process. That is it. If I can just get through an interview and just get a job, I'll be happy. Like, the thought of having to go through like a whole bunch of interviews just is like the scariest part for me. But I mean, that's life. So, and then it's like, if that's the scariest part for me, then this will be easy, because that I know I can do the job. I know I can. Trust, like, I know I can. I'm very confident in myself. And that's not me being cocky. That's me literally just knowing that, like, I am so dedicated. I'll get it done. I will get it done. So next is the JavaScript and algorithms certification. That's supposed to be 300 hours. The responsive web design was 300 hours, but I did it in about a week and a half. I think most of those 300 hours comes from the project section. I feel like if I'd put more detail into the first few projects, then it probably would have taken me longer. But I think 300 hours is kind of like what's the word? Like a guideline. It's not really exactly how long it takes. So yeah, this one, we'll see how long this one takes me. I feel like this one's definitely gonna take me longer, because the first module has 113 pages. Like, I've only gotten through about 20 of them. That took me like an hour and a half. So this one I feel like probably is more like 300 hours. And then the projects are obviously going to be a lot more hard because it's JavaScript, so it's going to be a lot more of like reactive stuff. And then the JavaScript syntax itself is just like, I just find it to be so extra. It's really extra. It's a lot. It's very, like, why can't you just be straight to the point? HTML and CSS is very straight to the point. Do this. That's what you tell HTML and CSS. Put this here. But JavaScript, it's just like the way they want you to word things, like, you're doing the most. So learning that is going to be the challenge for me. But I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it because I like what JavaScript does. So I know I'll be able to get through it. It's just that first little bit there. But yeah, so I guess I'll just end it there. Sorry, I kind of like ended up rambling a lot at the end there. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more from me, hit subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos on what I learn, how I learn it. I'm going to be sharing my projects, the process, how everything feels, everything I do in terms of tech and my journey. I'm also probably going to be sharing some other stuff on here as well. Like I said in my blog, I have like book reviews and stuff because I just started picking up the habit of reading, which I think is a very good habit to have. So I might end up sharing some of those book reviews on here as well. Let me know if that's something that interests you. I don't want this to be just like a specifically tech channel. It will be mostly tech, but not all tech, because there's so much more to me than that. And I want to share a lot of me on here, not just my tech journey. So yeah, so if you're interested, hit subscribe. I'll leave my socials down below and the link to my blog down below. And I'll also leave the link to Free Code Camp as well. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching, and kudos to you for making it to the end of this video. Congratulations. Anyways, see you later.